Breaking Bad ended in the best way possible. We all saw the end of the protagonist Heisenberg's journey with no questions left to answer. There he is, bleeding out on the ground after a long struggle to be the king of his world. But of course, unless you see a character being beheaded, there would always be crazy fan theories about their continuation. From the lesser extreme of he didn't actually die, to a more recent ridiculous extreme theory of he got a new identity as Hal with Malcolm in the middle. A theory which is so stupid, I'm not even going to bother explaining why it's stupid. It should just be obvious. Having said that, I do like fan theories. It keeps an element of mystery alive, and therefore in spirit keeps the show alive. And then El Camino came along and takes away that element of mystery.
White, the former Albuquerque schoolteacher who was the subject of a 6-month international manhunt, was found dead late Tuesday.
Yep, that's it. That's the mystery gone. So long, fan theories. Thanks, El Camino. Now, I'm not going to say that El Camino spoilt Breaking Bad for this reason, but I think it's worth exploring the question. What did El Camino add to the Breaking Bad universe? Did it contribute to the story in a good way, or did it stretch out the ending too much and spoil it?
You are so full of crap.
The first part of this extended story is actually the most positive part for me. Seeing Skinny Pete and Badger again, watching them help Jesse recover and stay hidden, was really promising. Although I did pick up on something that super annoys me when I see it. See if you can see it too.
You couldn't drive Thelma and Louise off of that cliff! Apex!
I can't apex more than I'm already apexing!
Notice how every time movies and TV shows have someone playing a video game, they thrash the controller around like they're wrestling a largemouth bass. No one does this. From now on, any movie or show that does this, I'm going to deduct points. And I don't even score points. Jesse has PTSD flare-ups, and I like the idea that Jesse still holds on to this mindset of being a caged animal.
It's cool, man, it's us!
That's Jesse, you're safe.
And if anything, I would have liked to have seen this element played out, spending more time with Badger and Skinny Pete dealing with his outbursts, and then watching them figure out a way to keep him from police detection. Perhaps ending this story with one of them sacrificing themselves to save Jesse, at which point we would have seen a journey of them bonding their stronger brotherhood.
Yo, Skinny. Why are you doing all this? Dude, you're my hero and shit.
This sacrifice I speak of would be something dramatic and game-changing to the universe, but as we now know, this doesn't happen. Jesse just escapes to Alaska with a new identity, something of which we all assumed would happen after seeing the end of Breaking Bad. Jesse has escaped. That's the finality of his story in Breaking Bad. Jesse has escaped. That's the finality of El Camino. Do you see the problem now? The ending is the same, so what's the point? Back to a positive, I did enjoy seeing more of Todd's personal life. He was the most interesting sub-villain of the series, and I think he's a character that has a lot of hidden depth. He belonged to this alt-right circle, but he wasn't brandished with the same tattoos. His whole image made him look like kind of an oddball to the group. He was cold, he was reserved, and he followed orders no matter the consequence.
No! No! No!
And in the moments where he does show kindness, he comes across as creepy, but I don't think he ever meant to come across that way. He does it again in this movie with Jesse.
I'm gonna do a better job of keeping you clean from now on, okay?
Oh, that's some uncomfortable dominance. Yeah, that's it. Look up at the camera, babe. Ugh. So just to remind you of the middle parts of this El Camino story, Jesse breaks into Todd's old apartment to find where he stashed the money. Just as he finds it, some police turn up to do another search. One of the officers is then held up by Jesse. But when he realises that he can't escape the law in this situation, he gives in. Only to then realise these guys aren't police at all, because they don't have handcuffs. Turns out these guys worked for Todd and his uncle as welders, and they're at the apartment to steal his money too.
Holy shit!
They reluctantly split the money, and Jesse attempts to buy his ticket to freedom from Robert Forster, rest in peace. Robert says it's not enough money. He owes him double for ditching out the last time he used his services. So Jesse goes to the welder's lot, shoots up the owner's Old West style, takes the money he needs, and then blows the plot to smithereens. And this is the scene where I wish they utilised Badger and Skinny Pete. Perhaps during Jesse's recovery, he could have freaked out, went on a rampage before blowing up the plant in revenge. And then as the police draw near, Skinny offers to stay behind to take the fall, allowing Jesse and Badger to escape. And from there, we could have found some form of interesting way to conclude the story. A conclusion that doesn't resort to an escape without consequence. All in all, I can't say I would bother watching this movie for a third time. I feel like everything I took away from Breaking Bad was satisfying enough. El Camino didn't change that. And perhaps if I took it more to heart, I could say that it lessened the emotional resonance, but I won't say that because, in comparison, El Camino wasn't important enough for me to care. And maybe if you don't feel the same as me because of Jesse being such a beloved character, I want you to bear this in mind. Think of the emotional investments you got from watching Jesse in these moments.
You decided to, I don't know, make your eldest son homeless? Wow! Great family, Mom! You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Now, compare that to El Camino, and how much of what you feel is based on having seen Breaking Bad first. El Camino is a new piece of media after all, and it should be delivering something new for you. In absence of this, maybe you gained a new perspective hearing my opinions on El Camino. So if you did come away from this video having that experience, subscribe using the button here, and I'll keep on delivering.